This is Interbeing, Held in Belonging.
I freaking reached out with my left hand for the next hold, and I missed it. I must have been exhausted because, it was right there, and I just remember, falling backwards. My hand no longer, fully extended, could not reach the back of the rock, and it was just flat, and I was just going. I was falling. And I remember the moment where my center of gravity was behind my feet, and I just was accepted, okay, this is it.
Welcome. Before we begin, take a moment to arrive here, at the quiet threshold where control softens and trust begins. There are moments when life asks us not to resist, but to accept, not to grasp, but to surrender. Across spiritual traditions, acceptance is often described as a doorway into deeper wisdom, a leap of faith where the heart loosens its hold on fear and opens to grace. In these crossings, many speak of unseen companionship, the gentle sense of guardianship, of being held or guided even when the path feels uncertain. Interbeing, Held in Belonging is a space for stories that live within these sacred tensions, between effort and surrender, fear and faith, the visible and the unseen, and the wisdom truths that remind us we are never walking alone. Today I am honored to welcome Serna into this conversation, sharing a story that invites us to reflect on acceptance, presence, and the quiet mystery of guardian angels.
So this was back in the summer of 2017 when I was working up in Estes Park, Colorado, and I had the wild idea to hike to the top of all the 14ers while I was spent my summer there. And I was getting to my 18th, 19th, and 20th peaks. I headed out to the Rock of Ages trailhead and set out to do the three peaks there: Mount Wilson, Wilson Peak, and El Diente Peak. And it was just ridges all day long, and they were unrelenting. I remember there wasn't so much beta, and so I constantly felt like, oh, is this can't be the right route? Like I should hang more to the right of the ridge instead of staying on top. It didn't feel like it was ever going my way, and I remember specifically two pitches, I guess, where I was like, it can't get any worse than this. And then it, of course, got worse than that. And I'm finally got to the second peak of the day and was looking across at the final ridge traverse with 3 hours of daylight left. And gosh, it's less than a mile. And so I was starting by the end of that traverse, getting very impatient, which you should never do in the mountains. And I started, you could say I was getting sloppy, because there was a moment when I came up to this ledge, basically a horizontal cliff that I was skirting along. There was a crack where I could slide my feet across with a boulder from the crack all the way up to the chest height, and that I could reach over and hold my upper body against the wall. And I was going along that, shuffling along that in a really quick rhythm, just boom, 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 boom. And I freaking reached out with my left hand for the next hold, and I missed it. I must have been exhausted because, I mean, it was right there, and I just remember like falling backwards. My hand no longer like fully extended, could not reach the back of the rock, and it was just flat, and I was just going. I was falling. And I remember the moment where my center of gravity was behind my feet, and I just was like accepted, okay, this is it. And before I could make sense of anything else, I felt a pressure through my backpack on my lower back, pushing me forward so I could reach, so my hand could move forward enough to reach the back of the rock again. Like, whoa. It was the only time in my life that I definitely felt like this thing I could not explain saved me, like where I've been very lucky. But that was surreal, and I I just had to keep pushing. I was so close to the end, and um, I I did get to the summit of El Diente as the sun was cresting the horizon, and then I was so done with the day, and so I just punched and kicked my way down the snowy northern face, about like 1,500 feet in an hour. I was on a roll to where I got to the bottom of the valley, where it's finally flat ground at like 10:30 at night, and just laid on this rock, looking up at the stars and feeling like I wish I could just stay here. I felt really good. Felt really good to just look into the universe. 15, 20 minutes passed, and I knew I had to continue on to get back to the car and make it back to work the next day. So yeah, that's my story.
Was there anything that went through your mind or your body in that moment? Did you think of anything in particular? Did you feel a certain way?
It was a very sobering moment of like, this is it. What I had to do, I did not do, and now I'm going to accept my fate. Like, it was so sobering. Do you remember looking down either during or after, and just totally being at peace with whatever that would have looked like? Mostly because it was like 40 feet of steep talus and then just abyss. I'm trying to really um, like understand the deep sense. Like, it was a very gentle touch on my lower back. Like, I was upright, being pushed forward as if someone was spotting me. But I was the only one I'd saw that whole day in that range. So I was really like, thank God, like, I'm still here. I just want to get the heck out of there.
In your mind's eye, what was it, do you think, that saved you that day?
It was my guardian angel um, that saved me on that day.
Was there any sense of fear?
Yeah, no fear. I don't know what the right word is, but like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. There was no fear. There was just pure acceptance.
What do you think that moment taught you about death?
That death is it is going to happen or it's not, and that you're not always in control of that. And so you should not fear it. I believe that you will continue on in whatever way. I don't think it could be any worse than like the most hardest heartbreak or loss in life.
Guardian angel shows evidence of something else, something greater. Do you think that this dimension is accessible to us beyond a life or death situation like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that having had glimpses of just something deeper there, like some connection that's really goes beyond the physical realm we inhabit day to day, that it can be observed or experienced in the day to day with a type of presence and love, like just being open. I think is a good word for when the glimpses have happened. But yeah, to say that you can experience it outside of a life and death situation, yeah, I think so. I've been dabbling on this notion that when you have this connection with a stranger, that you're kind of breaking something in the matrix. Like there's something real, tangible there that, I don't know, I can't explain. And how I look at it is I connect the kind of how my life was saved. Yeah, I connect with that experience and how there was something beyond the physical. And when you are sharing a moment and connecting with someone, that it is also like breaking this preconceived limitations of the physical. You're glimpsing into a dimension of interconnectedness.
After having pondered this and have gone through this experience, what would be one takeaway that you'd want to share with humanity?
Freaking overthinking is like our greatest enemy. When you're in a situation that is scary, that you gotta trust yourself and you don't let the fear creep in, because it's gonna try. But if you trust yourself, you could do it. Go out there and suck the bone marrow out of life, baby. That's the type of imagery that we should all be out there living. Not just chasing around your neurochemicals, but actually like getting to the heart of it all.
Thank you, Jared, for your honesty, your courage, and for offering us a glimpse into what it means to trust at the edge of the unknown. Before we part, I invite you into a quiet practice you can carry into your everyday life. Wherever you are, allow your body to soften. Let one slow breath come in, and a longer breath fall away. Across the deepest wisdom traditions, transformation begins not through striving, but through surrender, a gentle release of the need to hold everything alone. Jared spoke of presence and love not merely as ideas, but as a way of inhabiting the world. The heart is understood as a sacred meeting place, where acceptance softens resistance, where fear gently loosens its hold, and where we become receptive to a guidance that cannot be grasped or summoned by will alone. Many have described drawing closer to the quiet companionship of guardian angels, not as something to possess, but as a relationship that unfolds through attentiveness, prayerful openness, and a love that listens more than it seeks to control. If it feels right, let this become a daily rhythm for you, Pause, breathe, bring your awareness gently to the center of your chest, and quietly offer these words within yourself. Here I am, open, listening, and willing to be guided. You might return to this in moments of uncertainty, before a difficult conversation, or at the beginning and end of your day. Across many spiritual traditions, relationship with guardian angels is not something distant or passive. It deepens through attention, through invitation, through a heart that remains willing to listen. Each time you turn inward with sincerity, you strengthen that bond of unseen companionship, learning to walk in greater trust with the guidance that moves beside you. Notice how your posture shifts when you release the need to control the outcome and instead allow yourself to be accompanied. Spiritual wisdom reminds us that angels meet us most clearly when we become present, when love softens the mind and awareness grows quiet enough to receive. Take one final breath in and release it fully. May this practice continue long after this moment ends. Make your openness draw you ever closer to the gentle presence that guides and protects. And may you remember, in the quiet spaces of your life, that you are never walking alone. Until next time, remain held in belonging.